Welcome, guys, to Dubb Coaching. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being the best part about Dubb. We really appreciate you guys. I'm really pumped up to show you guys something that we have been building for you guys and also something that we have been building for us because we use Dubb. Dubb is our CRM. Dubb is our marketing automation platform. Dubb is our sales enablement platform. Dubb is our video communication platform. We use it for everything. So we are drinking our own Kool-Aid, of course. Why wouldn't we? How could we not, right? So what we want to show you guys is something that's really, really special and very niche, but very scalable. And that is specifically how to generate Facebook leads and then building an automation system using Dubb. Now, let me tell you a couple of reasons why this is extremely powerful, okay? And then I just want to confirm, so we're recording right now? Yes, we are. Okay,
Yes.
cool. We will be sharing this recording after the event here, okay? So there's a couple of reasons why Facebook leads are so good and so specific and so valuable to you, okay? The first thing is that Facebook is probably one of the top two largest ad platforms in the world. Now, it's Google and Facebook. Those are the two big ones. There's no bigger platforms than two. Google has YouTube, Google has the Google search display network, and then Facebook has, everything under the Meta umbrella, which is Facebook, Instagram, Meta, and then that larger sort of media empire that they have with all their specific niche, media opportunities. The reason why we like Facebook so much is because on Facebook, you can get really specific with the targeting. You can target on geo, like a zip code. You can target on titles, like if we're trying to, for example, cater to real estate agents or business owners or small business owners or someone with vice president of sales. We can actually do some moderate title or affinity interest type targeting. For example, let's say that you're looking for people who want to buy a boat. You can actually go look for specific audiences, like one might be boat enthusiasts, right? One might be business owners. One might be outdoor enthusiasts or watch collectors. There's so many specific types of campaign targeting that you can choose. It's always changing. We would share the list, but chances are in a week they're going to add some and remove some. They're using a lot of AI to change these campaigns and these specific types of targeting options. So we do encourage you guys to use AI to ask what's the latest and greatest ways to target your audience, and then to actually get in there, which of course Darius will be showing momentarily. So it's really important to understand your audience. What is their interest? What is their age group? Where do they live? Do not leave these things broad. Otherwise, Facebook is going to send your ads to everyone and anyone on the planet, and there's going to be zero targeting. And you're just going to log in and you're going to say, we got these terrible leads that are worthless to us. What happened? And then you're going to go see where you spent the money, and then you will see that your ads went to the ether. And we don't want that. So very specific targeting is critical here. Who these people are, what they're interested in, how old they are, where they live, psychographics, demographics, get as specific as possible, okay? So the targeting options are amazing once you pass that first test, right? The second thing that makes it so amazing is that you can use lead gen forms. Now, here's why this is valuable. Landing pages are in many ways the historical currency of advertising. You get an ad, you direct traffic to a landing page, and then on that landing page, you've got a form, you've got a video. It's a VSL, a video sales letter. It's a landing page, it's a website. There's so many different ways that people talk about it. We've heard squeeze pages, conversion pages. It doesn't matter what you call it. Historically, there's always been a page that you direct traffic to, and then you convert that traffic into leads. They fill out a form, they book a time in your calendar, they check out, they put their credit card in, something glorious occurs. The problem is this. The problem is that so many things can go wrong on ad platforms if you're directing traffic to an ad page, to a landing page. Is it mobile optimized? Was the video too long? Was it did the form not work? Did the automation with the tag on the back end not function properly? There's a lot of things that can go wrong. So Facebook is very well aware of this, and they have been for years now, which is why they built Facebook lead gen ads. And I will explain what that means specifically. A Facebook lead gen ad is where you have an ad creative, and then the form is built into the ad creative so that the person never has to leave the advertising platform. They never have to leave Facebook or Instagram or Messenger or WhatsApp. It's all right there. The form occurs within the ad experience. Because what happens otherwise is that you get sent to the Facebook browser or the Instagram browser, and that is where some things can go wrong. So it's great news that you can have a lead gen ad right on your ad. Now, here's where it gets really cool. That form, which we're going to show in just a moment, that form actually connects to your Dubb account, which means that you can build automation. I repeat, the form on Facebook can connect with your automation on Dubb so that you can send notifications. Hey, thank you for filling out the form. Here's the ebook you requested. Here's the video training you requested. Here's my contact information. Here's a booking link, whatever it is that you have. B, you can send an internal notification like, hello, team, sales team, heads up. We just got a lead from Facebook. Call them, email them, text them. Do everything that's appropriate and allowed. It's an opt-in, speed to lead. Get in touch with them in the first 5 minutes. That will increase your conversion rates by 5 to 7x. Speed to lead, first 5 minutes contacting that lead is absolutely critical. So I encourage you to do that. Your internal notification will give you a heads up to know that that lead just came in, so you can pick up the phone, send them an email, or send them a text, okay? And then the coolest thing about this is that you can build an automation, which means you can send them a series of emails or SMS, assuming that you got opted in for them. And then that allows you to nurture them over the course of days or weeks or months, because we all know now as experienced sales professionals that sales does not occur in the first touch point or the second or the fifth or sometimes the seventh. It takes 12 to 27 touch points sometimes to get that sale. So why not use automation on Dubb to send them a nice high value email with more value, more videos using Dubb landing pages, an ebook, trainings, links to assets that you have to educate them, to nurture, to build trust, to build that connection so that when they are ready to buy, they think of you. It keeps you top of mind. The most advanced sales organizations use automation. And let me tell you, folks, when you can use the Facebook ad platform and get scale with your ads, which are high quality, qualified leads, and then build a system to automatically send your team and them all the information that they need to eventually convert them into a client, I'm telling you guys, it's really, really powerful. And in this masterclass here, which is going to take us an hour to do, we're going to show everything. I'm so lucky to have Darius, the Oracle, who's going to show us everything. He's going to open up the hood and show you guys what this looks like. We also have Param from our team. We're grateful for Param. He actually runs our ads, and huge shout out to Param. We're going to be sharing a lot of stuff. Let me give you guys a sneak peek on what this all looks like. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. Darius, did you want to add anything before I share a couple of things?
Just that what we're going to do, guys, here is we're going to start with the end first. So what Ruben's going to share now is going to be what the product of all this looks like when it's in action, right? The leads are coming in, they're getting followed up with, or being assigned to salespeople. This is what the system looks like at the end, at the finish line. And what we're going to do in this session is we're going to go through step by step how to get to this point.
Nice. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. And then the funny joke that I'll share with you guys is that anytime you're on Facebook, just remember, Facebook is designed to distract you from what you're doing. So don't go to facebook.com, go to ads.facebook.com or business.facebook.com where you're going to build this, because I can't tell you how many times I went to facebook.com with the intention of doing something business, and then I get sucked into the feed and I'm looking at articles and videos and whatever else. So just a caveat, ads.facebook.com and business.facebook.com are the distraction deterrents. Sharing screen now. All right, so the first glorious thing that you can do is to go into your Dubb account, click on Marketplace, and add the connection. It's a one-click thing, you guys. It's amazing. We built it. It's absolutely native. We went through all sorts of approval processes with Facebook. This is an official Facebook authorized integration connecting Facebook lead gen ads to your Dubb account. This is included in your account. Now, the automations is part of the Pro Plus. We are going to talk about that later, okay? But this connector will get you started. So at least you can import your leads, okay? So the way that that looks is you will click the install button. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add an owner. You're going to want to add a tag for however you'd like to organize those leads within your Dubb CRM. And if you are integrating another CRM with Dubb, this is totally possible because you can just sync the tags. We'll talk about that later as well. This is a checkbox that's a no-brainer. Use the Facebook form name as contact tag. Darius will explain this in a little bit. So anytime you create a form, it will add an additional tag so that you can stay organized and know, hey, which one of our ads, which one of our forms got that lead, because that's the one I want to invest in, okay? We'll talk about that momentarily. And then, of course, you've got all your leads, the email, the phone, the mobile, first name, last name, secondary email, which is a custom field. So you can add any custom field into this integration. Hey, you might ask someone, when are you looking to buy? What is your budget? How many people are on your team? What is your job title? I mean, the sky is the limit in terms of what questions you can ask on those forms. But of course, remembering that don't make all these questions that you ask on forms required. And the more things that you ask in a form, the less the conversions are going to be, right? People want to put few information as possible. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. Then you click submit and this connection takes place, okay? Here's what it looks like if you actually go into your CRM and start to understand what your contacts are. So this is something that I should probably not share my screen because there's sensitive information here,
Yes.
but I'm going to figure out a way to blur this information out and show you how many leads there are with that Facebook lead. So you have to trust me that we generate hundreds, if not thousands of leads with this method. Okay, in the recording, we'll probably put a video in here with the contact blurred. The last thing that I want to show you before Darius opens up the hood here is what the workflow looks like. Here is a workflow on Dubb using Dubb automation. Now, is this intimidating? Does this intimidate you? Have you built something like this before? Does this terrify you? Whatever you're feeling, it's totally okay. It's totally normal. This is just a series of events that take place in an automation. We promise you, it's not that hard to build. It's all common sense. When a lead comes in, what do you want to do? Well, the first thing you want to do is tag them to stay organized. Then what do you want to do? You want to send an internal notification so that you can actually let your team know. That's what that says, send internal notification. And then you want to start to send emails to them for your email sequence. So you send one email, then you have a delay, then you send another email, you have a delay, and so on and so forth. In this case, I think we have like 10 or 12 touch points. You can have this continue to go for 6 months, all depending on your sales cycle. So thanks guys for listening to this intro. Dubb plus Facebook lead gen forms is powerful. Please don't fall asleep at the wheel. Please make sure that your targeting is rock solid. Please make sure that you log in every day. If you don't have the bandwidth to manage this yourself, please find someone who can, because this is going to have your credit card on file. So please be mindful and don't waste money, okay? Thanks for listening, guys. Darius?
Thanks, Ruben. All right. I'm gonna take over the spotlight here. Guys, so what we just did, we just showed the end result of what this needs to look like. And in our humble opinion, if you are not running automations, you are going to be burning money, because there's a very critical factor here, which is speed to lead, right? Someone is clicking on your ad at 5 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're not able to follow up with them for 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever the length of time might be. That's going to significantly decrease your conversion rate, your opportunity to take that lead and turn them into an appointment or a customer. You have to communicate to them in a very, very short time. And that's why we started with showing the end result of this kind of infrastructure here. What I'm about to show is how to actually come and create the ad and how to connect that marketplace to activate the second part that we just showed there. The reason we showed this piece first is because, guys, you should have that built first. Before you ever turn on your first ads, you need to have this automatic process built where human connections, emails, phone calls, something is in place to happen automatically once you turn these guys on. I've seen too many times people start putting budget into ads and leads are just piling up and getting no communication, right? Because the automation isn't built. And that's a quick way to burn some money. Is there still a chance to convert those guys that have been sitting there for some length of time? Yes, but it's going to be significantly reduced. So that's why, guys, we started with the end, because that's where you should also start, by having the end result built out first. Once they're generated, that's like the first step, right? They just became a lead. Now they need to become into the automations and follow up and nurturing. So, guys, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll actually put this link in the chat as well. As Ruben mentioned, you'll want to make sure this is not just a regular Facebook platform you begin with. It is through the Ads Manager portal. If you've never set this up before, you will need to set it up the first time. You go into the Ads portal, agree to the permissions, the terms of service, and stuff like that. But once you are there, it is going to look like this. As soon as you guys actually click that link and get into the Ads portal, you're going to be here. I'm now going to actually go step by step, guys, into creating the ad and connecting it to Dubb for the automation. Started with the end because you guys need that in place first, but now we're right at the beginning. All starts with this create button right here. So I'm going to hit create. And in this case, you guys won't have anything existing, or maybe you do, but we're going to start with a brand new one. You can see there's a lot of different types of ads to do here, right? Direct for sales, like e-commerce and stuff. We're going for leads because most of us here are not e-commerce, right? We have services and things that we want to follow up with. So we're going to go leads, continue. And then here is where we're going to go through a couple of first different things. Obviously, leads is the thing that we want. There's going to be different types of budgeting we can do as well. This comes down to a different type of strategy. Most people are going to use daily budget. And what this does is Facebook is going to try to look to spend your daily budget every day, right? So if you put $10 here, that's $75 a week, or whatever. And it might spend a little bit more. Just be aware of this kind of limit here. The other thing here that we're not going to talk about today, but this is something of consideration, is if you want your ads to show during a specific time. Like if you don't want your ads to show at nighttime and only during the daytime, this is going to be a completely different type of budget. You're going to have to choose a lifetime budget for this, meaning you're going to run it for a set time. This one will actually allow you to schedule when your ads show. Otherwise, on daily budget, Facebook is going to show your ads when it believes and feels that people are going to convert from it. You're going to see here, there's also a lot of AI targeting and suggestions and stuff that are done by Facebook. Some of these are really helpful, some of them not so much. And I'll kind of break down what each one of these are for you. But overall, their AI, their targeting is getting much smarter. And by playing within their rule set, you are sort of giving yourself a leg up and an opportunity to take advantage of their algorithm more. So anyway, quick thing here with budget, be aware if you want scheduling, then you need to use a lifetime budget. Otherwise, daily budget, it will typically spend your daily budget every day. So first piece is budget. Now, after this, we would, of course, name the campaign, right? This is new leads campaign is what we're calling this guy. And then there are some special ad categories, guys, employment, housing, a lot of these things. If you're in one of these special sections, it can sometimes be very difficult to get your ads approved. Like if you're saying something about housing, or there's certain words that just get automatically rejected. So just be aware of those things. Again, this is totally unique for every business. So we won't spend a lot of time here, but there are special categories in which rejections are much more common, or you have to sort of toe the rope much more closely in order to get approved. So just be aware of those special categories and if you fall within those. Okay, the next thing, just click the next button, right? This is where we're going to trigger or decide what type of conversion that we're looking for. And in this case, it's forms. We're going to use the Facebook forms to actually generate those leads. And that's what's getting piped into the Dubb automation and things like that. So instant forms is what we're selecting. You guys can see there's a lot of other different types of conversions that can happen here. You can start a Facebook Messenger conversation. You could do a combo like excuse me, don't spend a lot of time in Messenger. So that's not something we're utilizing. If you guys are very active and you're using ManyChat or whatever, there's different options here. Instant forms are still involved with these two. So those are the two that we can actually leverage for this training that we're talking about. Instant forms needs to be a part of this though. And we're going to create this form in a moment. But what the form does is it allows you to capture those custom fields, the questions you're looking to ask, and then automatically populate those into a new contact inside of Dubb to trigger the automation with the appropriate data points there. So instant forms is the option we're going to talk about today. If you guys have access to more than one page, make sure that you're selecting the right page that you're trying to advertise on. So I've accepted the terms for that page, not the other one. You'll see some red marks there if anything's preventing you from doing that. Let's talk about performance goal for just a second. Maximizing the number of leads or conversions. There's some other types of goals that you can do as well. You can maximize for like different bidding strategies. I'm usually going to say, because this is a lead-based campaign, I'm going to say maximize the number of leads. And this is going to, again, sort of rely on the algorithm, rely on Facebook's sort of AI and their suggestions to maximize this number. Oftentimes, this is a good choice. Sometimes it's not. Google and Facebook have different sort of AI suggestions, and it gets very nuanced as to which one of these you guys should go on or go with, and which ones we should absolutely turn off. And I'll show a couple of the Facebook ones here. Performance maximizing, that one's actually okay. Or you could do cost per result. This is sort of harder, especially when you're starting a campaign, because you don't yet know what a conversion is going to cost. And what does a lead mean to you versus what is a deeper type of conversion, like an appointment or something. So again, just maximize. Now, this switch is actually going to allow you to, if you have multiple forms of creatives, which we're not at yet, but we can actually set up different types of creatives and allow this to dynamically vary the creatives. But again, that requires a little bit more input where you're going to have multiple creatives, which we're going to suggest anyways in the next step. But that's just another little switch where it'll create combinations of your media. I don't understand why they put this one here, because we're not actually at the point of supplying the creative yet. It doesn't make sense to put it here in my opinion, but it's there. So anyway, next thing, this is the actual budget schedule, right? When do we want this ad to run? When do we want it to end? If you have set the lifetime target of the budget, like we mentioned, or if it's the daily budget, this is where you're just going to determine when you want these ads to begin and end. If you guys are taking your first stab at this, if you have not successfully ran tons of Facebook ads before, I want you to take Ruben's advice, my advice here, and walk before you run. Don't put some crazy daily budget. Don't set this and forget it and schedule it in perpetuity. You want to pay so close attention to this guy in the beginning to make sure that you're learning from it, because this is a process that is very much a science and somewhat of an art, right? You have creativity, which is the actual creative and the advertisement, the video, the copy, whatever. But then there's the actual scientific part of it, which is split testing, measuring, looking at your results and determining your next actions. So this is not, I'm going to even stop the share, guys. This is not a exact science like, oh, if you do this and this will be your result. It is absolutely not like that. You will need to test. The other thing is, I don't want you guys to have the expectation where even if you get all the bells and whistles right the first time, you have the perfect creative, perfect audience, perfect everything, and it's working well. This does not mean that's going to continue. There's a very real thing that is not in the portal that's discussed here that's called ad fatigue. So this idea that we're showing you guys right now, this is like learning how to send emails, right? You don't just write one email one time and resend that forever, right? It's going to get old. People have seen it. Ads are the same exact thing. Ads become fatigued relatively quick these days. So it depends on how large the audience is. how dynamic the creative is, how many different pieces of creative. There's a lot of variables that go into how quickly an ad fatigues. But what fatigue means is if you just have one ad and a small audience, Facebook is going to very quickly show that ad to those people. And once the same people have seen the ad 2, 3, 4, 5 times, it's going to get much more expensive to continue to show that same ad to those same people. So that is not something that is described here within the Facebook ads portal talking about ad fatigue, but it is something very real that I want you guys to be aware of. And that's why this is not a set and forget sort of thing. Like when you build an automation in Dubb, like not for like even for the leads, that can be much more of a set it and forget it, right? You do a great job creating an automation, that's going to stay in place. Ads do not. Ads need constant refreshing, weekly, monthly, bi-weekly, right? They need constant attention as well. So I don't want you guys, I'm not promising here anything where you're saying, oh, you just set it up and it's magic and it happens, right? No, this requires effort and it requires attention. So,
Yeah, this is the whole piece about not falling asleep at the wheel.
exactly.
That's the sort of industry expression. Darius, you mentioned the perfect word about this, which is testing your creative. I mean, there's nothing more important when it comes to advertising than testing your creatives. I want to show you guys two very quick examples of two creative things that we're testing right now. The thing that's really important here is that this whole premise of lead gen advertisement is based on a give-get model. You give something of value, and then you get something in exchange, which is contact information. That's the whole idea of lead generation. If you're just asking for someone who's interested in buying this, it's not really going to be valuable for them. So you're not going to generate a lot of leads. It's very critical that you think, what is it that you can offer them? What is the piece of value? Again, is it the ebook? Is it the training guide? Is it a video training? Is it a live webinar? Is it a booking consultation? What is it that will attract your target audience to an asset so that they want to give their contact information, that it's worth it? Think about that. When was the last time you put your phone number on a form or your email on a form on the internet? It's got to be something very valuable. So here's what it looks like for us. This is actually an example of an ebook that we offer. So if you go to dubb.com, you will be retargeted with a specific creative that offers this ebook. And in this ebook, it's the ultimate guide for sales prospecting. We put a lot of time into this. We wrote this, we collaborated, we met as a team. We have a designer that went into it. We put a lot of statistics. There's some graphic design here. You don't need to go as detailed as this. This is a very serious effort. You can go and build this in Canva. You could even build this in a PowerPoint or a Google Slides. There's a lot of different places that you can put content like this in. Make sure that you have a call to action at the end, because after people watch your video, read your ebook, you want to drive them down your funnel. So of course, we take them through here. There's a QR code, there's a link that's clickable, and we're constantly testing this. And then the other thing that we're constantly testing is our creatives. In fact, this is a really creative, very short 15-second ad of a character that we invented called Sales Head. And this is, of course, Rob Botts from our team. It's 15 seconds. Let me show you what this looks like.
Are you looking to close more deals? 10x your sales right now with the 2025 Sales Prospecting ebook. Now, this isn't just an ebook. It's a sales guide to get you more clients. Click below to download your free copy to get ahead.
Click below to get ahead. That's our pun. So we're constantly testing our creatives. It's very important. Thanks, Darius.
Good. Yeah, guys. And actually that's the piece where we're about to jump into right now, which is the audience and creative. So in reality, guys, we could spend an hour talking about each one of these sections easily. We don't have that time. So we're going to scratch the surface here, so to speak, but I want to give you guys enough to get started. Audience is probably one of the most important thing. It's the audience. Creative's important as well. I can't balance them to say which one's most and what percentage exactly, but the whole point is if you're trying to sell cat food to dog owners, that's not going to work. So that's where understanding and being able to target your audience. The reason Ruben mentioned we really like Facebook is because the audience can be much more specific than what like something Google provides, right? Google doesn't know what people's professions are. There's no profile on Google where people are listing their professions, where actually there is audiences here that you can build in Facebook to do this. So there's different types of audiences. Custom audiences are where you can create your own. You can use lookalike audiences. So let's say if you have contacts that are customers, you can actually upload that, and it's going to allow you to create a lookalike audience. So it's going to find people that look like your customers. And there's a couple of things you can do with that. Like there's a 1%, 2%, 3%. What that means is how similar are these people to your audience? The lower the percentage, 1%, the more likely or more similar they are to your audience, but the smaller that audience is going to be. So lookalike audiences are extremely valuable. And in fact, what I'd recommend here, guys, is like a combo, a hybrid of all of these things. You can also do things like the, what's it called? This is a custom audience. So like you've imported something, right? They're your contacts, people in your app, people that visited your page, people that have interacted with Facebook stuff. So that's what the uploading your existing audience is. But then, of course, you also can save audiences, right? So you can build audiences like what we're talking about. Maybe it's partial custom, partial lookalike, or you have defined your audiences here where you can search things like job titles, demographics. And then once you've created your audience, then you'll save here. There's also detailed behaviors, right? So this is where I was talking about the like job titles. If I just type in sales here, it's going to give me, are they interested in sales? Is it their job titles that's in sales? This is, guys, what the core of the audience looks like. And what I also recommend is if you're like, well, I have no idea where to even begin with this. Like, I think I know who my ICP is. Everyone here should have an idea of your ICP. If you're not, go back to the showcase, the coaching showcase, watch the training on ICP. You should have a pretty good understanding of who your ICP is. Now, how does that translate exactly to these demographics, psychographics, interests, all this stuff here? This is where a quick conversation with chat.com might help, right? You can come in and say, here's all the stuff about my audience that I know. Provide me exactly the controls I should use to create a custom audience in Facebook. And that's what I would recommend for you guys right now, because there's not enough time here to consult each one of you individually. And I don't recommend you just guessing, right? You go, well, I think it's this, or I think it's that. I recommend using AI to get a much better idea of that, given all your variables that you already understand. Is it mostly men? Is it mostly women? Is it 50-50? Is there an age group? Is there a profession? And guys, this is just one audience as well. I mentioned everything needs to be tested. So you're going to create this first audience as with your best sort of ideas in mind. And you're also going to try other audiences. Completely different strategies is what I recommend. One could be based on job titles. You're like, well, I know these job titles is exactly who I want to target. Another one might be just lookalikes of your existing customers. And finally, another one might be a combination of these things. Audiences are one of the most important and also one of the more complex or nuanced parts of creating ads, guys, because first, you don't know what's going to work better. Again, it's not an exact science. It is scientific in nature, but it's not an exact science. Everybody's business is different, time of day, your product, your offering, how that group of people, and then with our zeitgeist, right? What's happening in the world today? There's so many variables that come down into this that ultimately comes down to taking your best guesses, right? Positioning yourself, using AI, using your own thoughts, using whatever research you can to try to build the best audiences. But ultimately, it comes down to testing. And that's why I also, again, recommend not falling asleep at the wheel, paying very close attention to this, especially in the beginning. Once you start building audiences and testing results, you're going to have a much clearer picture of who's performing well, what type of people are responding to your ads. And you'll, in fact, be building an audience, right? You're building people that have engaged with your ad that you can retarget as well. Retargeting is a completely separate type of campaign that you can, right? You can still do leads for retargeting, but the whole idea is we need to get people in the mix first, and then you can retarget them. So guys, there's literally, we can talk about audience for an hour here, but I recommend doing some research with chat first, providing every bit of ICP information you can to it, and asking specifically what audiences does chat suggest building. If you're unfamiliar, if you already have a really good idea, then this should, not be unobvious for you. Like, well, I want to target nonprofits, and I want people in California, and I want, right? You can build that all here and then save that audience. And now one thing to be aware of, guys, this is extremely important. The broader that your audience is, excuse me, the broader that your audience is, it's typically less expensive for engagement, right? Your CPM is what, your impressions for what it costs to impress your ad upon 1,000 people, meaning they scrolled through Facebook, they saw the ad or Instagram or whatever. That's what an impression is. So CPM is what sort of defines a lot of the cost of a project or of an ad. Again, with how much does it cost to show your ad 1,000 times to people? The broader that your audience is, usually the lower the CPM, the lower the click cost, the lower the conversion cost. However, you might also end up with lower quality because the audience was much more broad. Again, this is why we test. This is why we have multiple iterations, because you might start with a really broad audience and it's really cheap, but ultimately you find out that the quality is not what you're needing. So you come back and you refine the audience, and now maybe it's in the middle here and it's a little bit more expensive, but they're converting because they're actually the people that should be talking to you or you talking to them. But again, there's no definitive answer out of the gate. This requires some testing. Chat will accelerate that by giving you a few audiences to try that are based on best recommendations, based on whatever's available on the internet for research purposes. But it will require testing. It will require multiple iterations. I don't ever want you guys to think that the first one is just a home run. It's possible, but more than likely it's going to take multiple iterations of finding who your perfect audience is, and also finding the balance between broad and narrow. If you're like, well, I know exactly who I want 25-year-olds, males in this demographic of this job title. Well, great. Your list is going to be 50,000 people and it's going to cost $10 a click or something like that, right? So there's a balance here between broadness, narrowness, demographics, interests, etc., that require some significant investment in your research. Chat can help with a lot of that. Okay, let's talk about placements, guys. Placements are where your ads are showing, right? This is, let's see if they'll give us some previews here. This is where your, no, that's not the physical previews. It's like, is it on Facebook? Is it on Instagram? Is it on the stories feed? Is it in their scroll feed? Is it skippable? These are what placements are talking about. Right now, I'm going to recommend the advantage, especially if this is the beginning, using their AI, using their algorithm to determine the placements is recommended in the beginning, because what that's going to do, it's going to place your ads where they think that it's going to do well. And then we're going to come back and look at this ad performance. And we won't have time for this one and this one because we don't have any current ad to look at. But once you guys start doing this, you will be able to see where your ads placements were, where they were working, where they you might see that all of your conversions are coming from Instagram or from mobile or from Facebook on desktop. I'm going to recommend that starting with the advantage placements, because it's going to place your ads where they think they're going to convert well. And then we're going to look at the actual results in the data and see what worked well. And then shut off the placements that are not working well and include the placements that are, right? This is iPhones, Androids, mobile, desktop. You have the ability to select between all of these things. And if, again, you don't have, most of you will not have that information. You're like, yeah, everyone converts on my mobile. You don't know unless you've run these types of ads before and you've looked at this data before. So I'm going to recommend just the advantage placements in the beginning. And then we're going to look at the data to really determine what placements are working for us. Also, just be aware, conversion rates for a lot of services are often higher on desktop, but there's far less traffic on desktop compared to mobile. Mobile CPMs, right? Mobile engagement and in clicks and stuff is typically a lot less expensive, but they're also less committed. The conversion rates are lower. So there's always this balance, guys, of cost versus conversions versus quality on every single one of these things, on the creative, on the placements, on the audience. And this is why I preface this with, it is scientific, but it's not an exact science, right? There's not a formula that gives you the perfect result every time. It requires nuance and testing and iterations. So we've talked about audience, we've talked about placements. Last piece of this guy here is the actual ad. Guys, this is the creative. This means, and by the way, really quick, what's performing best on Facebook? What Facebook themselves suggest what chat's going to suggest, what everyone's going to suggest is short form videos. That's why you saw our ad there is a short video. By now, you guys should be aware videos have to have hooks, extremely compelling hooks, something that captures their attention and says, wow, that's me. I'm interested in this. I need to pay attention for the next 15 to 45 seconds. That is absolutely what every single video needs these days, guys. If your ad does not have that, what's going to happen is someone's going to scroll. They may stop. Your ad starts playing and it's uninteresting because it didn't have the hook, and they continue to scroll. That tells Facebook your ad does not have a good hook. It is not interesting for this audience, and it's going to get more expensive immediately. The opposite happens when you have a very powerful hook. They scroll, they stop because they see, hear, read something interesting. You hook them with like, you have this problem. I know who you are, but I have the solution. And they're like, wow, yeah, that's me. Now Facebook says, well, you stop their scroll. You captured their attention. They're watching your ad. This must be a good ad. You must be a decent advertiser. This must be the right audience for this ad. So therefore, your ad cost is going to stay low. It's going to, and your conversion rates are going to be better. So the hook, extremely important. I can't stress that enough, guys. If you have an ad that just starts with like, hey, let's show you some stuff and blah, blah, blah. Unless it's like a humorous or something, some creative angle there that we're not considering, it has to have this, guys. It has to be interesting. There's another component that I want to include here, guys, which is the CTA, the call to action in your ad. That also needs to be extremely clear. Just like the Dubb videos, right? When you're sending a regular Dubb video or a marketing email or a sales message, the CTA needs to be crystal clear. It also needs to be irresistible, guys. It shouldn't be, let's schedule a time maybe. It's very weak. There's no value. There's no there's no sensitivity. There's no fear of missing out in that sort of offer. It needs to be something that includes those. There's scarcity. There's perceived value. There is like what they're going to get from it. Ruben mentioned the give get, right? The CTA is fill out the form to get the book. We're delivering something of value to them in order for them to take an irresistible offer. Free book on how to 10x your sales. That's pretty hard to resist, right? No commitment. You pop in an email, you get a free book. So those are the types of things that you need to have in ads these days, guys. And not just because we're saying that, it's because that's what you're up against. When you go into Facebook and you're looking at advertisements, if any of you spend any time there, you'll see that's what a lot of good ads have. They have the very compelling hook. They have an irresistible offer, a powerful CTA. This is what you guys are up against either directly or indirectly, right? There's a lot of competition on there, and you need your stuff to perform if you want to continue to invest in this channel. What happens if you don't do the things I'm suggesting? No hook, no powerful CTA, no irresistible offer. Your ad is not going to perform well. The costs are going to skyrocket. The fatigue is going to set in very quickly. And then you're going to give up on this because it didn't work, because we didn't do the things are required to make it work. So I just want to, I'm not going to get into the very specifics of what your video ad should be, but I have provided the infrastructure, the frameworks of what it should be. It should be a video. According to Facebook, according to all experts, video performs best. It should be short. It should not be a 10-minute video. It should be like less than 1 minute, 30 seconds, something like that. It also needs to have a very powerful hook that's very specific to your audience. And that's why we're doing some experimenting with audiences and creatives so that those two things match very closely. You may or may not know your ICP's biggest pain point, and that's what testing is going to tell you. Are you a real estate agent facing this problem? And they're like, no, what the hell is? I don't even know what that is. And then your different one says, are you a real estate agent facing this problem? And they're like, yes, yeah, absolutely. I got to watch this. So while if we live in a bubble, we might think we know things. Ultimately, the market is going to tell us the truth. And that's where you guys need to have your creative match to the audience. If you're targeting real estate agents, your creative talks about real estate agents. If you're talking to a specific person, type of person in your targeting, your audience, your creative needs to match that. Should be a video, should be short, should have a hook, should have a CTA, an irresistible offer. Those are the parts of the video that I'm going to absolutely recommend that you guys have. And in fact, one moment here, I'm going to show you one of the ones that this is actually really suggested right now from some of our ad experts, because guys, AI is here, right? We can use AI to do some pretty interesting things. And so what I want to show you is a couple of concepts here of what this looks like. So, moment.
Yeah, we really enjoy working on the hooks. You know, that first 3 to 5 seconds in a creative or in a video, there's an art to that. And it's absolutely critical that you invest the time to train yourself and frankly to use AI to help come up with better hooks. Because if you don't capture, people used to say you have to capture their attention in the first 3 seconds. I beg to differ. I think it's in the first 3 milliseconds because think about how fast it is that we're scrolling. If we're on a feed, the scroll looks like this. You know, the next time you look at yourself scrolling something or look at, your kid or a friend or a partner scrolling, look at how fast they scroll. It's like once a second. And within 1 nanosecond, people decide if they want to watch that piece of content or not. And think about it, when they see sponsored or ad on Facebook, on Google, on Meta, whatever it is that they're looking at, they even have more of a block up. So you really, really, really have to invest into that hook. Darius has been coming up with some really creative stuff using AI. And, we've invented these mascots, like Rob is our sales head, which is just a cutout of a head. Sales head, get it? Click below to get ahead. There's some creativity that we're trying to implement here.
So this one, guys, I've done a previous training on Veo 3, and I want to that's actually what I use to create these couple hooks I'm going to show you guys right now. So there's one right here. Actually, let me make sure you guys can hear the sound on this. Share sound. There we go.
Oh, I love this is Sales Thor.
This guy right here. Let me maximize it. We'll restart it.
Want to know the secret to 10x your sales? I'll show you in less than 30 seconds.
So that's one, right? I've yet to put that one in. And then here's one that we did that we put into more of a complete ad.
The secret to 10x your sales. Want to know the secret to 10x your sales? I'll show you in less than 30 seconds.
You want to know the secret? There are no secrets. So that's kind of what it looks like, guys. The prompt that I did for that was super simple. That was not anything fancy or crazy or whatever. I said, influencer girl saying this script. Literally, that's it. And the other one was, I want Thor between a rock and a hard place saying this script. I didn't even pay anything, guys, for that. I put my credit card on Veo 3, $0 it cost me to generate those hooks in like 2 seconds, like 30 seconds, literally. Well, I guess if I include the time that it took me to come up with some creatives. My point being is the ad experts right now are saying this is a very powerful way to do a very compelling, very interesting hook, followed by a little bit of human, trust building, so they don't think you're just an AI robot company. Guys, that ad took me 5 minutes to make completely, right? The AI hook plus me doing my human piece just right from my phone took minutes to create. So this is what creatives look like on there and how you can get really fancy, right? With something amazingly like distracting, right? That hook with something like Veo 3. And you can do it all. Like, again, I didn't even pay a dime for neither one of those clips. I put my credit card in. I'm on the free trial until whatever, a couple more days. So anyway, point being with all of that, guys, is to say you need to have multiple creatives. You want the more is better here because ultimately you don't know what's going to work until you test it. So let me jump back in here. We're at this point now, guys, where we're actually creating the ad. Single image or video is the one we're talking about. You're going to take that MP4 file that we discussed and you're going to upload your video ad. You're going to be able to preview it right here. You can sort of preview where it's going to be in its different placements and stuff, Facebook feed, Instagram feed. So you can come look at how this creative is going to look before you ever turn this thing on. And excuse me, again, video is the piece here that is most highly recommended. Now, we talked about creative, right? I recommend videos. I recommend multiple instances, multiple versions. The reason we showed these pieces here too is because these are very modular. I have this hook, I have the Thor hook, I have other hooks that are on the way, and followed by my irresistible offer, my CTA, my human component. And we can mix and match these things extremely easy, right? Take clip 1, take clip 2, merge them together. Now we have 6 different ads from 2 different clips that were all generated in a few minutes. If you guys are doing this the old school way, where you're trying to go and create some amazing, super compelling hook on your own, that's going to take all your creative juice. It's going to take video editing. It's going to take whatever. And then you're putting yourself in it and you're putting all that effort into one ad. That's a quick way to reach burnout or fatigue, right? Your fatigue, not the ad fatigue. So I'm going to recommend you guys leverage the tools here. And if you're not a video editor and you want to put a couple things, Fiverr, right? Fiverr is an awesome friend. Unless you already have some video editing skills of your own, CapCut or whatever, great. But what I don't want you guys to do is investing all of your time into this ad world when you have your own business to come run, right? So this being said, the reason we have Parham here, guys, Ruben and I are sort of the creative directors with this. We come up with the copy, we come up with the audience, with the creatives, with the landing page. We have to do all of that piece. But Parham is our guy who's in there actually managing this day to day. He goes and he gives us the reports and he's like, this is the cost, these are the clicks. So he's actually reporting on it so that we're not in that ads portal for hours a day. He does that for us. And then when things are working, when things are not working, that's when we come and we activate to provide a new creative, to provide a new split test, to change the landing page, to optimize the workflows. So it's a team effort. We didn't always have Parham. It used to be just 100% of us. And eventually we brought someone like Parham to help manage, but we had to have full understanding of all this before we did that. I don't recommend, guys, just going straight to agency. Oh, I realized my camera. Okay, I'm here. I realized don't go straight to agency, because an agency is going to say, oh, well, we'll do all this, and charge you an arm and a leg, and you have no idea what's happening, right? They're like, well, we built the landing pages, we're doing the creatives, it's our Facebook ads account, and they have like you beholden to them for as long as you want to use this service. I recommend you guys take advantage of this training, learn the core principles yourself, so that way people can't pull the wool over your eyes and try to charge you absorbent amounts for things that don't make sense. Like, oh, well, yeah, it's $5,000 for us to monitor your ad account. You mean to go in and look and turn off the ads that aren't working, and I have to supply everything else? Why would it be that much? So that's what I want to provide this to you guys. Whether you started off completely on your own or you get someone like our team member Parham to sort of help you manage it, just be aware you want this knowledge in your own database, your own brain here first, so that people can't take advantage of you and you can't, you don't play stupid or whatever. Like, oh, I don't know what's happening. But again, the opposite side of that is you spending all of your time becoming a Facebook ads expert, which unless that's part of your business, I don't recommend doing, unless you're planning on selling advertising or something.
Yeah, I was going to say also, Darius, that we do recommend having a team is how things happen. Okay, we all probably know that by now. It's impossible for us to go and become everything. That just is impossible. It doesn't work, right? So delegation, building your team out, investing into things like sales enablement and lead generation, there is going to be a positive ROI on this. Full disclosure for us, we don't do this ourselves. We, in fact, have an entire team. We have Mark on our team that helps with the copywriting. We have Caleb on our team that does the video editing and the sort of design, ebook generation. We have Parham who does our ads. We have Ina who helps us manage this. We have another video editor named Bono and another one named Seb. So we've built out this team, because we're a growing company and we want to go and be able to delegate this and hire experts to go do this stuff for us. So depending on where you at is going to determine what type of team you are going to create. But think to yourself, what would that investment look like for you to have someone that runs your ads for you? Darius said something that is very wise. If you do go find an agency, you might build a dependency on a firm. And then if the crap hits the fan, who knows where that goes and where your leads go. So, some people are pro agency and some people are, hey, let's bring it in-house. I'm not saying one is better than the other. You just have to tread lightly, be mindful, make the right decisions, and then never have, unhealthy dependencies on people, because if something happens, then the whole system stops. I think that's probably common sense by now. The one thing that I will share here on my screen is this is what it looks like to generate leads using Facebook. Can you guys see the CRM here on my screen?
Yeah, it looks like all the stuff's obfuscated. So the personal information, yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted
in here, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for noticing. I wanted to share this earlier, but I wasn't able to because of sensitive data. But this is very interesting because this shows the power of Facebook lead generation. If you notice, there's a tag here, Facebook lead gen. And all of these contacts here are leads that have been generated from Facebook ads. How do we go and sort these leads just like this? Very simple. You go to the marketplace within settings within your Dubb account. You click on the Facebook connector and then you specify a tag. Depending on what that tag will be, determines which tag will appear in the contacts. And then of course you can click this button right here and you can filter based on the tag, okay? Or you can create a filter, a saved filter right here, and click this little filter icon, click on the correct filter, and then you can save this. That way you never have to do this over and over again. You can always have this saved filter within your CRM. Now look towards the bottom. We have 42 pages of leads, and on each page we have about 10 leads. So this is just in this one little segment here, you know, there's over 420 leads that we have generated. What would you do with 420 leads, qualified leads that have been targeted, the right interest, the right title, the right zip codes? What would you do with those leads? You know, hopefully you would do what we're presenting in this webinar.
Do what we're showing you. You need a system for these guys if they're coming into, because by the way, thank you for that too, Ruben. I'm going to continue with the form in a second, but guys, what happens if you don't have the pieces that we're talking about? You're going to do all this work. Facebook's going to generate these leads, spend your money, and put them into a little folder somewhere on Facebook. And Facebook does not provide any native option to do anything with those. It's not even going to send you an email and say, hey, you got a new lead. It literally does not provide anything natively. So that's why we started with the end first, guys, is you need the system in place to handle the leads as soon as they're coming in. Speed to lead, all these things are absolutely critical. Otherwise, you're going to waste your money. So Facebook doesn't offer any of those things natively. I don't know why. They just don't. You have a CRM. You need like either Zapier and all these other systems in place to do the same thing that we're doing in one tool. And that's why we want to make sure you guys have the end in mind first, and then we're going through each of these steps. So
I'll do a quick enactment, okay? I've been thinking about this because I really want this to be obvious, okay? This is what it looks like to not have automation when you run Facebook ads, okay? So you're going along your day, you're like, oh, you know what? I've got that ad on Facebook. Let me go log into Facebook and let me go see if there's any leads. You pop into Facebook, you're like, oh my God, there's leads here. Wow, when did these leads come in? Oh my God, these leads came in the last 3 days and last week. I haven't even called these people. I haven't emailed them. I haven't texted them. Oh my God. So then you go to the you download it, and then you feel the burn, you feel the hustle. You see that you spent $500 generating those leads. You're like, oh my God, I spent $500. What do I do with these leads? And then you pick up the phone and you call them and you say, ring, ring. Yeah, hi, Sammy. I noticed that you filled out a form for one of our ebooks. Yeah, this is Ruben from Dubb. Oh, you don't remember me? You have no idea who I am? You don't remember doing that? Oh my God, this is terrible. I'm so sorry for calling you. Click. Embarrassed, shame, awkwardness. They don't even remember filling out the form from last week because they got busy. They're doing 100 things. Would we remember things that we do a week ago? Sometimes I don't remember what I have for breakfast. Right? So, Darius mentioned speed to lead. We have to focus on the speed to lead. Now, here's what it looks like when you have automation, okay? You've got your Facebook leads going, you've got your ads going, okay? Someone's managing it, a professional, okay? You've got A/B testing on creatives, on offerings, give, get, remember, ebooks, training, webinars, consultations, value, okay? The lead comes in, boom. Dubb sends an internal notification to your email. Wow, I just got a lead that came in. They just filled it out like 60 seconds ago. Why don't I pick up the phone? Let me call them. While you're dialing, the Dubb automation is sending them the value, the ebook, the training, the booking link, the piece of information that they wanted, that they trusted you with their contact information in exchange for. Think about that for a second. The automation has already sent the email after the lead came in on Facebook. And then you call them and you say, hey, Sammy, I noticed that you just filled out a form for a complimentary consultation. No, thank you for saying that. I pride myself on calling people very quickly when they fill out our forms. Oh my God, it's so good to connect with you. Yeah, no, this is how we run our business. Customer service, providing value, good communication is essential to the core of our business, and I can't wait to work with you. Deal closed. Click. Let's go, you guys. That's what it feels like to have speed to lead with automation versus falling asleep at the wheel, forgetting where your leads are, logging in on some random date, and then calling someone because you didn't have your automations. Hopefully my acting was good there, but hopefully more importantly that I made it very abundantly clear why it's so important to have automations and to not fall asleep at the lead and to work with professionals.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I got one more piece here of the actual technicals, and then I see some questions and stuff. We'll jump in there. Guys, we were just spending a lot of time on the creative, audience creative. I can't stress how much importance goes into those things. I see some questions about the creative video stuff. We're going to dive into that a little bit further. So drop questions, drop stuff in there. Guys, the last part of this is the form, right? We all talked about the form here. And so now we're going to get into this. One thing to be aware of is you can't edit forms on Facebook. So once you create a form that's connected to this ad, that's it. You can make new forms, right? And you can apply new forms, but you're not going to be able to edit existing forms. So this first form that you create, it doesn't matter. You can create as many as you want. But when we're going into building automation and things like that, you just want to be very mindful about getting, too many moving components and stuff. So don't just have 100 forms stacked up in there and you don't remember their names or what they're for or whatever. So just be very mindful about your form creation. If you could just have one standard form, simpler, right? But if you want to decide, or if you're deciding to run different types of ads, maybe the form questions are different, then you'll have different forms. And you'll want to make sure those names here are very specific. So this is lead gen, lead gen, Darius, 6, whatever. I'm going to remember this form name. When you're creating a form, you can see here, there's the preview of it on the right, using an image, uploading something separate, right, to put some image on the form to make it look more relevant or interesting. There's also, this is probably the most important part of this, is the questions, guys. The way email works is it's usually automatically populated by Facebook's autofill email. This can be good and bad things. It's good because they didn't have to type anything in. It avoids email errors, right? Because it's their Facebook email. It has to be right. However, this could be bad because they could be their old personal email from 15 years ago when they signed up to Facebook and they don't even look at that thing anymore. This is why email, the standard email field, you can see what we did. If you saw earlier, we provided a secondary email. So we went to user, actually I think it was right here, email. And then you can create custom, like here, work email is what we did. So we wanted the business email because it's business to business, right? You can also add your own stuff here, other questions that you want to ask. Those ones are grayed out because they've already been added. But be aware, guys, the more questions that you have, the higher the cost is going to be. Because when people reach questions they don't want the answer to, or they're fatigued from answering too many questions, or everything was auto-populated except for one of the questions that you asked and they felt too lazy to type it in, right? A lot of reasons why that happens, but generally, right, typically speaking, the more questions you have on your form, the more complex those questions, the higher the cost of the lead. If I just said first name, last name, email, that's going to be probably the lowest cost lead possible. If I have phone number there, that can increase cost. If I make it optional, it's still maybe going to increase cost, maybe not. Again, there's not an exact science, but these are all typical expected behaviors. The more questions you ask, the higher the cost per lead, the lower the conversion rate. So I only recommend here asking the most important questions, guys, the most important ones. Don't just have questions here for questions' sake. You want the most important ones that you absolutely need for the intelligence of your follow-up and your marketing and what you need from this lead. So just be aware of that. Don't add a bunch of questions that you don't need. Privacy policy. You guys need a privacy policy. If you do not have a website yet, you need to make one. You need to make a landing page. You need to have a privacy policy that you can link here in order for this ad to be approved. So be aware of this. If you guys are early on in the business or you're using like an Instagram as your business page, something like that, you need a privacy policy in order to use Facebook ads. The last thing is what happens when they fill the form. This is extremely important as well, guys, because while we've talked a lot about automations in what we can do with those after they filled out the form, there is, in fact, an opportunity to create a conversion and impression action immediately after this form is filled. So look, we just went through the form, right? We clicked, we submitted our answers, continue. There's the privacy policy. Click if you want to read it. Submit. So they submitted the form, which now results in this final thing. This is where, if you guys have the give get, if you've done the appropriate sort of lead magnet, this is where you say, get our ebook, get our resource, get the freebie, get the thing that you filled out this form for, get it. Do something, because you want them to click this button and you want this button to lead to something valuable. This is where many of our customers, ourselves included, where you can leverage video landing page, right? A booking page like mine here, where it's booked Darius. My calendar's there, my testimonials are there. So I'm going to get the lead, right? That's already done through the form. But for the low-hanging fruit, for the most engaged contacts, for the people that are ready to go now, when they submit this form, they're going to have this opportunity. This is where you can link to your Dubb landing page, your own website, something where you're going to be able to capture these low-hanging opportunities, the people that are more ready to convert now, that don't even necessarily even need to get to the drip sequence. That's there as the safety net, as the secondary, third, fourth actions to get more conversions. But the people that are ready to go right now need something here. So this is where you're going to provide the link to your Dubb landing page, your own landing page, something here. You're also going to make sure the headline and the description are compelling them, incentivizing them, motivating them to take this action. If it says, thanks, you're all set, they're not going to click this button. Why would they? It says you're all set. I'm like, okay, close, right? That's what makes sense. So you'll want to modify the message here to make it compelling, interesting, incentivizing them to take this action. And you'll also want to set up this landing page. Maybe it's a video, Dubb video page. This is the easiest thing you guys can do. You all have Dubb. You all can build a very compelling, interesting landing page that has resources, download the ebook, get the guide, book the time, chat with AI, all of that, right? Can happen instantly for the lower hanging fruit, the more closable opportunities in your ads. So this final part of the form, again, extremely important. Every single part of it's important, but this is the end. This is where the sales and the conversions of your most closable leads are going to happen. So invest in this as well. Maybe you already have a booking page, right? If you have your Dubb bio link page, something like that, perfect resource to go here. Has some social proof, has some resources, has maybe what you promised to deliver them, and then of course the action you want them to take. What should go on that video, on that landing page? An awesome message saying, hey, thanks so much for checking out my Facebook ad. Below is the resource I promised you. However, that resource is only going to take you so far. What's going to do the rest of it is scheduling a time with me where we can take all this and make it real, right? Something like that, depending on your offer. Maybe you're not going for bookings or whatever. But the point of this whole last part of the form is it needs to drive to a result for the opportunities that are ready to move forward. Create the form. I'm not going to do this right now, but once the form is created, again, you can only have one form per ad, and you cannot modify the forms. You can create a new form and attach a new form, but you can't change the form once it's created. After you've created the ad or created the form, you've created the ad. Guys, we're not doing any special event tracking in this training. This gets far more complicated where it's like API based, it's URL based. There's a lot of complex conversion tracking we can get into. We're not doing that today because we don't need it. There's no purpose. The lead form is the conversion. You're going to have all the conversion information tracking that you need through Dubb and through the Facebook lead form itself. This gets into the weeds very much so. We're not going to do that today. The last step, guys, is to publish this ad. Well, that's the second to last. Sorry. The second to last step is to publish. The last step is to monitor this thing, guys. You need to pay attention close, very, very, very close. Like it's a brand new employee. It's a baby. You can't leave a baby alone for more than a couple of hours, right? You're going to want to look at this thing when you turn it on. So this is not the last piece of this. This is the last piece within Facebook itself. Publish, monitor. However, we're ready for now the Dubb piece, guys. So once that thing is turned on, remember how important the form title was. This is where connecting the marketplace. So I'm in the connection. I'm in the marketplace. Here it is. When there's before, this is already connected. So it'll say connect. As long as you're logged into the same Facebook ads account in the same browser, that connection is automatic. It's OAuth. It's a very secure connection. It's going to connect to the right Facebook page. Then here under options, this is where we were talking about the specifics of the form on Facebook. First of all, there's this tag. This is every single lead that gets generated from a Facebook lead gets this tag. Then there's a second tag that can be added, which is the name of the form. So guys, we showed two different creatives, right? One's for real estate, one's for salespeople. So I have two different forms. One's for salespeople, one's for real estate agents. When the real estate agent fills out the real estate agent form that I created in Facebook, they're going to get the real estate agent tag. So that way I can trigger a specific workflow for them based on the Facebook form that they filled out. That's what this button, this switch right here means. And the form is automatically applied, guys. Like the integration here knows which form they filled out from Facebook. And all you do is click this button and it's going to automatically assign the name, the title of that form as a tag to the contact. Moving here, this is where you're just doing basic field mapping, right? Email to email, phone to phone. Mobile is more important. Phone is like landline. Mobile is way more important for you guys if you're doing texting or something. So make sure mobile is matched to mobile. Full name, last name. We also, guys, put secondary email here. This was a custom property. So you guys can first in Dubb create whatever property is going to match to the form question that you're asking. If you're saying, what is your mother's maiden name on the Facebook form? You're going to come into Dubb under the CRM and custom properties, and you're going to create a custom property that says mother's maiden name. And that's where you're going to match this here. So this is the property that exists inside of Dubb, and this is the field that is on the form question. The title, guys, is specific here. It's an underscore. So don't, what's it called? Don't like put some weird symbols or letters or something in here. It's very specific. Underscore is the only thing that's allowed, not spaces or anything. Underscores are okay. So you would select the property, and then you'd add the mapping that's coming from the form, the, business underscore Twitter or whatever. Again, that form field is going to have a name in Facebook. You're going to match that here. So that way, any custom questions you've developed on your Facebook form are going to automatically populate to the Dubb contact using this piece here. So if you guys have really specific questions you've asked, great. We can have those automatically connected to the contact as a custom property as part of this integration. As I also mentioned, if they have different types of forms on Facebook, one's for customer A, customer B, or you just whatever, different purposes, those can all be used to trigger the different workflows, which, by the way, I'm going to go over here one more time to show you the last part again, which is the workflow itself. The triggers here, guys, right? How did this workflow get triggered? It got triggered by the appropriate tag. In this case, it would be the name of the form from Facebook. Because if I have a real estate form, I want that to trigger the real estate drip. And so that's going to be the trigger here, is the tag that gets added from that form. Then, of course, you have your build out that looks like this, right? Send internal, so you know they came. External. This is a whole nother discussion as to what we should do here based on urgency, based on so many other variables. We're out of time for today, guys, for this lesson. This could be a whole nother piece though, right? Each one of the lessons, each one of the modules that we kind of covered today, guys, the audience, the creative, the form, the landing page, the automation, each one of those is like a training in itself. So this was a very high level concept training, guys, to introduce you to each one of those. And I encourage you guys to do this. If you're active on Facebook, if you're looking to generate leads, whether it's yourself or through an agency or through a combo, this is the intro lesson. And also, guys, if you want to come back and say, review this creative for me. What do you think about this? I'm struggling with that. You have the place, you have the support to get some stuff for what you need.
Awesome. I do have a couple of answers for some questions.
Wait, I don't know if we want to include this in the recording. Just probably cancel the recording and answer questions, or you want to include them?
Yeah, you can keep it rolling.
Okay.
So we got some great questions here. So what AI platform should we be checking for the video hooks? You know, Dubb has an AI writing assistant built right in. It's called Ira. And we welcome you to go to your Dubb dashboard and type in, please write a 15-second ad with a great hook. Give us 10 options, and it will produce some results. You can also go to ChatGPT. You can go to Claude by Anthropic. You can go to Gemini from Google. You can go to Meta, has its own AI assistant like Facebook. If you go to your Facebook Messenger, there's an AI assistant built right in. So there's a lot of different AI assistants, but if you want to keep it all in one place, we do encourage you to go use the Dubb AI assistant. The other question that I'll answer here is from Michael. Can I use the same ad if I have to change the form? Yeah, no problem. Ads and forms are two separate entities. You can connect any ad to any form, but then one nuance here is that you cannot edit the details of a form. Unfortunately, Facebook does not allow that functionality. So if you do need to go change the title or add fields or fix a typo or whatever else, you will need to go and clone your existing form, add your new information, and then reconnect it to your ads So that is a requirement. But again, ads and forms are separate. Just make sure that if you do make edits to your form, you go and you reconnect them to your ads. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for attending the live training here. We went over a little bit,
Yeah.
but we wanted to just jam pack this with value. Darius, was awesome. We encourage you guys to keep coming back and ask your questions because we are here to support you. Thank you, Rich. Really appreciate that. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Kai. Appreciate you guys.
And one last thing there too. I think Ivan, you said what AI platform? Ruben provided the stuff that's going to help you write a creative hook, but the actual generate, like the stuff that I showed earlier, the Thor piece and the influencer lady, that's all through Veo 3. So I definitely recommend, guys, you can come put your credit card in to get a free trial and it generate a couple of clips. I think I was able to generate four or five 8-second clips. Just so that's where I actually got those, was from Veo 3. A lot of people are doing the Bigfoot stuff is super viral right now. Some really cool stuff you can do with Veo 3 without paying a dime initially. So
check this one out, guys.
I'm ready to use Dubb. I'm so tired of not getting
He's ready.
my emails and SMS. I'm ready to use Dubb.
You know, the sky's the limit. This is a prompt.
I'm so tired of not getting responses to my email.
You know, we created a bunch of these.
Yeah.
You know, they're funny, you know?
Chance is the best guy ever.
You know, it's the sky's the limit, folks, when it comes to AI video. Don't get lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
You know, here's one me playing the guitar. Here's a spokes. These are pretty cool.
I can't believe I did not know this. Now, I'm ready to use AI and video.
Yeah.
So, you know, these are great little hooks. We encourage you guys to go have some fun. My favorite thing, like Darius is a perfect example of this. We should show this next time. You know, a little bit more detail. It's the AI plus the HI, combining AI with humanity. That's my favorite part of this. If it's too much AI, I think people just get desensitized.
Right. That's kind of because there's a pushback right now where people are like resisting the AI and not they want to connect to humans. They're missing that. And it also is a trust thing. If you put 100% AI generated content out there, people think that you're not from the United States or you're hiding something, right? There's a trust factor that is not created purely from AI. So I recommend hybrid.
Yeah. One of the next ones.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, who's interested in using AI for video hooks? Darius has amazing examples with this character. If you are interested, put one in the comments, and maybe we'll do an AI video hook masterclass. That would be a lot of fun.
Right on.
You know, let's use it until people get desensitized.
Right. That's it. We're at a sensitive window or a short window right now where we can really blow people away with some cool creatives, but eventually we're going to become desensitized, like zombie movies or whatever. They used to be scary, and now nobody's scared of zombie movies anymore. People are like, whoa, what are these really cool things? And eventually they're gonna I don't know, there's nothing cool anymore. I've seen everything. Yeah. So it's a good time.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Guys.
Enjoy the rest of your week and weekend, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being the best part about Dubb. And remember, sharing is caring. So go tell 3 people about Dubb and tell them to come and join our live training, dubb.com/T as in training. And if they want the coaching, it's dubb.com/C. See you guys out there. Use video, use AI, have some fun, be authentic. Take care, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.